Hello everyone, Brad Johnson here, and in this conscious matrix communication video we're going to be talking about the magnetics of intention. And so the premise relating to this particular video is if we're going to take an arc like this, and that this arc basically represents a bandwidth of frequency. So let's just say that over on this side here you would have more of the black spectrum, the colorless. Over here you would have the white. Now just in between the black and the white you would have differentiations in regards to the spectrum, not only presenting itself through color, but through the idea of how events, situations, circumstances, emotional, mental attachments, all of these particular parameters are being assigned in regards to this spectrum. So you can also refer to this as negative or positive as well, whatever you like to do. So we're just kind of taking a look in regards to the intention, the magnetics that come through the idea of intention. So let's just have our sample individual here. Alright, and here's Joe. Go ahead and call him Joe. And Joe himself has, again, a bit of a challenge attempting to understand his departure, his transitioning from particular beliefs. So certain aspects are being pulled into his being. So again, finances can be one example here. That is kind of being looked at at the dimmer part of the spectrum. We have finances, we have relationship. So his relationship again is pretty dim, not something that's doing too well. So that's something he's pulling in. Let's just say that something very inspirational has hit him, and that's the ability to travel. That he enjoys through his job traveling for free to go to somewhere like Hawaii or Costa Rica or whatever. And that's something that's really exciting to him. Alright? And here's another particular form that's really exciting him. Friendship. So he has really good friends. Okay? So there's something that's really bright in regards to his spectrum. And this is basically the whole idea in regards to some positives and then to some negatives of what he feels is, just for example, some aspects that he may want to work on or that he feels he's very comfortable with. So when we're looking at the magnetics of intention, the whole idea here is that, alright, I want to be able to improve my relationship. I want to be able to improve my finances. So when we're actually feeling that the consciousness of ourselves, based upon these ideas, are looking to be improved, we're basically trying to take many of these ideas and bring them up to this level, the 0 point. Now, it doesn't mean that we have to bring them all the way over here, because what you're doing is you're balancing that which is causing certain forms of dismay or depression or anger, sadness, etc. So he's very sad about his finances. He's very upset about his relationships and not being able to have a partner. And so utilizing the idea that this side is a negative is that he's attempting to use positive energy to bring it to this point. Now, sometimes in the idea of positivity, you may feel that you're going a little too much overboard with positivity. You may feel that, I get to travel a lot and nobody else does. Man, doesn't this feel great? I'm king of the world, I'm the top of the world. I got the best friends in the world, my friends are better than your friends, etc., etc. So that would be basically like taking these two things and just going it, and I guess you could say, stepping on it and moving it far deeper into the positive, where that can literally, in that sense, feel that he's so at ease on a positive level between friendship and travel that those particular things can now take an advantage of him. So situations themselves, when they have a little too much positive reinforcement, you're really kind of letting down all of your other barriers. So when your travel and your friendship is moving more into this balance point, You're not seeing it as an attachment, because what happens if he loses the privilege to travel and it's so much into the positive end? Well, if for some reason that his job is lost and he's unable to travel and he's been feeding it so much positive energy, what's going to happen is he's going to go through a vicious crash. Same with friendship. There's some sort of situation that happens that creates a triangle or creates some sort of miscommunication, and perhaps friendship is in jeopardy, and you're feeding it so much positive energy that it's going to crash. So the whole idea here is that we're looking at the beliefs relating to this scale, relating to this arc of spectrum, relating to how we are able to identify certain things. And this is something you can easily use. Just creating an arc and deciding where certain things may belong. And here's the 0 point. And here's some other positive things that you feel are going really well. I may have, quote unquote, the best relationship in the world. All right? I might be making really good money. All right? I have a beautiful car. All right? Whatever it may be. These are things that are really greatly positive. But the whole idea is that they're not contained at this point, at the 0 point balance. And so, not that there's anything wrong with again having positive energy, but the whole idea here is that you're utilizing positive energy itself in the magnetics of intention to bring it to the 0 point, so that you know that you have that, but you're not feeling that this right here, my car or my money or my relationship, is my entire world. Because what happens if some of these things crash, if these things collapse? Your car gets smashed up and gets recollected. Your relationship gets taken for a spin. Your money situation starts to be in jeopardy. What's going to happen? And that's why a lot of these things manifest. We manifest these things in our being because we attempt to test ourselves to realize, is this what is my whole world? What would happen if there's some sort of issue that came by and created turmoil in regards to everything that really represents the basis of how I consider my life revolves around? And again, with the negative energy, that, perhaps there's something in regards to being too stubborn, or, again, emotional imbalances. Any other particular forms of depressive states, not being able to feel enough, right? Not being able to communicate. So if you're noticing that these particular reflections that calibrate negative energy are contained here, these particular forms of what you're noticing that function on a negative scale can conflict with what's on a positive scale, because nothing here is balanced. When you have much of these particular aspects contained at the 0 point, then you're moving yourself into an equilibrium. You're no longer feeling that you're lacking in communication, that you're lacking in feeling, and that these particular negative traits are in conflict with these particular positive traits. Because as long as there's separation and polarity, they're always going to clash with each other. And that's why we bring in these particular manifestations, these circumstances that come into our awareness and create this conflict. It's the positive and the negative clashing on each other. It's the light and the darkness clashing at each other, good and evil, whatever you want to call it. But that's why there's circumstances that manifest in regards to thinking that I felt I was living the high life. I had really good money, I had a really great relationship, I got a really nice car, and I feel I'm starting to lose it all. And then, downward spiral. Things start to create turmoil. Things are manifesting now where everything is looking very grim. So, the whole idea here is that not only are we attempting to bring things more in balance, okay, we want to really address the idea of belief. What is it in regards to the magnetics of intention that is bringing all our concentration together? But we notice right here that there are gaps. And of course, much of the particular expressions are that, well, if I believe in something, and that really represents the focal point of my belief, then everything that represents that belief is really going to be a shield for me, and that's really going to secure me, perhaps in regards to my health, etc. Well, yes, that's true, because if you are bringing in a lot of focus to one particular area here, let's say this strand relating to health, all right? I always feel great. I exercise every morning. I have a really good diet. I drink a lot of green smoothies, and I'm eating a lot of raw food, and it's fantastic. I know I'm untouchable. Okay, that's great. So you really feel that you're bringing in good vibes relating to your health. But understand that illness can come in many different ways. It doesn't just come in through the idea of a chemical doorway, that you're basically dealing with other forms of fields, other magnetic properties. You're dealing with ELFs, you're dealing with EMFs, you're dealing with all this stuff. So these themselves would be coming together through the gaps. It's not that you need to focus in regards to the plethora of your health, it's that you are at peace with it. You are creating an amalgamation in regards to how everything health can represent. It doesn't just come through diet, and it doesn't just come through exercise. It's basically allowing yourself to be mindful of what health means to you. So if we take a look at the alignment of health, we have a multitude of facets that flow throughout the idea of health. When I show this word to you, well, what does it mean to be health? Many people may say, well, it's the physical body. It's getting into shape. It's running every morning. It's, consuming the green smoothies, etc. like that. But it's about looking that health itself is a theme. And like all themes, they have infinite possibilities. And so it's really understanding that when you are mindful of the ability of feeling that I'm going to consume this raw diet, I'm going to have these green smoothies because this is what's going to help to protect me, this is what's going to help to rejuvenate me. That's great, but does it really need to have a purpose behind it? Are you really just doing that diet because it has a purpose? Because there's a means to an end for it? Or is this because this is who you naturally are? Do you see the whole idea? You don't need to be healthy in the sense that it's going to bring about this benefit. It has a means to an end. Why not just be in health because that's who you are? There doesn't have to be a because. It's just being in health. This is how you're able to accomplish the theme where health can express itself in all degrees. Because now you're telling your energy, I am health. I'm not healthy because I don't want to get sick. I am not just healthy because, I want to live a long time. I'm not just going to be healthy because it's going to boost my intuition, etc. So you can always make those claims, but those claims come from a means to an end. They attempt to give a justification of why you're becoming healthy. Okay? And it's the same as anything else. Whatever other theme you want to throw in there. Okay, so money. Okay, so what does that mean when we want money? All right, well, I want to have a really high-paying job. HPJ. A high-paying job. I want to be able to get a nice house. Right? I want to be able to have a car. I want to have security. Yeah, for the nice family, etc. So again, you're attempting to identify the theme of money that comes together in all the infinite ways it can, and you're attempting to give justification to these areas because they hold a means to an end. Why not just see that money itself is what it is? It's what I can attain. Why do you want money? Does there have to be a because? I simply see myself in the idea of financial abundance, in stability. Now, you don't have to refer to it as money. You can refer to it as financial abundance. You can refer to it as stability, whatever you want to. But just because you feel, you want to have money, it doesn't mean that, again, that you have to see it as a means to an end. You're naturally vibrating to everything that represents the money as the apex of stability. So that's something else you can refer to, just in that idea. Stability. You want to have stability, and stability represents this sub-theme that comes together in infinite ways of money. You don't have to always formulate a because. I want to be healthy because. I want to be financially stable because. It doesn't matter. Justification doesn't matter. As long as you're justifying things, you're only going to tackle the fragments of that crystal that represents the purity of that theme in all the ways it can infinitely be expressed. So rather than just picking at the facets of the crystal, why not become the entire crystal itself? So this is the whole idea. The belief will only get you a look at one particular facet of that crystal. Right? And it's the same with anything else that you want to do. Your own intuition, again, is a theme. Right? Everything, whatever it is, your ability to be a healer, your ability to be a business person, whatever you want to do. It's not always asking, why do I want to become this? It's the realization that I am being it. I'm all things. I'm not just, Joe, who's 28 years old, who's single, and has a job as a janitor. Okay? That's not who Joe is. Those are just certain facets that represent himself, his name, his age, his relationship status, his job. But that's not Joe. Joe is so much more than that. So the whole idea here is that if you really want to expand yourself, if you really want to get the most out of life, you're working together with the themes of exploration. Your health, right? Your work, okay? Your stability, your enlightenment. Now, none of these that are being addressed on the board here are subparent. There's no subparents coming through these particular definitions. These definitions are as they are. Health, work, stability, enlightenment. There we go. I hold no beliefs to these themes, and I'm willing to look at all of the spectrum that they hold without feeling that I'm attached to any one particular idea, without the feeling that I'm unworthy of any particular idea. So by giving a statement like that, you have brought yourself into the 0 point balance relating to all of that. And now, when you're looking at the spectrum, you're taking everything that represents the positive, you're taking everything that represents the negative, and it's coming into the 0 point. Now you're in control of the spectrum. Everything is happening because you've freed yourself from definition. You've freed yourself from the illusion of control. And now nothing is control. You're functioning in harmony, in flow as a guide. Everything's available to you now because you simply see the essence of what all themes that you are aligning to explore to present themselves in all the infinite ways they can. So now you're no longer considered about these clusters, about being too negative or being too positive. Because as long as you have some of these elements that are too negative in comparison to some of these other elements that are too positive, they are always going to clash. And that's why you manifest these situations. Because you still have negative belief systems, you have image in regards to how certain aspects of yourself are being portrayed on a negative level. You have image in regards to how certain aspects of yourself are being portrayed on a positive level. And they clash. And they conflict because there's no harmony. They're not at 0 point. And so they're going to clash at one another. It's going to be those magnetics of intention that clash in positive and negative, but it's about directing the magnetics of intention through the wholeness of the themes that you want to explore so that they can be brought into 0 point. Doesn't that sound exciting? That's all you have to do, is it's the infinite in containing to all themes without feeling that you have to attach, without feeling that you're unworthy. And as long as you can do that, you are bringing yourself into the 0 point balance, and then there is no more conflict. That's how it works. That's it. See your worthiness in everything, of all the themes that you want to explore, not just these, but many others. You're always going to have other themes to explore in all the infinite ways that they can be expressed. Be its humble guide. Flow in the connection of everything that those themes represent to you. And this is something that I'm working very, very strongly with other people in CMC, is to help address what they feel is negative in themselves, what they feel is very positive in themselves. And then I asked the question, where do you feel is the balance? Do you feel that there is a balance in regards to these traits? No, not really. I just still I'm dealing with positive and negative things. How do I bring them to balance? Well, this is exactly what you and I are going to work on, is we're going to work to get these things together, to bring themselves together. And really that's all I'm doing for me, being here, is to help you to explore yourself, to help you to explore these traits and realize that you have an observer, that's someone who is willing to listen and to help you along the way through intuition, through conscious matrix communication. That's my purpose, as I'm still working with other people, myself, to bring a lot of stuff into balance myself. And it's feeling really, really great, connecting with my own guidance, talking to others in regards to discovering a mutual understanding, something that synergizes. And that's the whole idea. That's what CMC is all about, is attempting to bring all of these aspects, positive and negative, and bringing them here. Because when you're there, there's no more conflict. There's nothing to clash. So you're no longer concerned about negative beliefs or positive beliefs or negative actions or positive actions. You're bringing all of that together synergetically to be part of the oneness, to be part of the 0 point balance as you continue to play along with the magnetics of your intention, bringing them to balance. So thank you very much. I hope this video has made sense to you. If by chance you do have any other questions relating to this video, by all means feel free to drop me an email, info@consciousmatrix.com. Thank you very much for watching. Talk to you again soon. Much love to you all. Namaste, and may it be well with you. Goodbye.